The richest man in American history isn't alive today. And even by considering how much inflation has raised the value of the American dollar in this country, he still beats everyone out in terms of wealth and valuables. Even still today, his family does not have to work, but some of them choose to, and I respect that. And I'm going to tell you how this man got so rich, and hopefully you can learn from what he did. John D. Rockefeller was a smart and capable businessman who made choices and investments and made tactics that businessmen use today. But he was also a caring individual, which I also respect. Today, I will talk about how he made his money, how his big business ideas and charisma and the way he carried himself made his business very lucrative and profitable, how his business tactics that he made up people still use today, how when he dissolved his company and made a corporation, his money became even more wealthy. Well, he became even more wealthy. How he made his goods very cheap and profitable. How he when he dissolved his company and split up into other corporations, his money got even more large. John D. Rockefeller was not born a very rich man. He was born July 8th, 1839, to a man named Davidson Rockefeller, who was a con artist of sorts. He would sell elixirs or cure-alls to people, and they would not be cure-alls at all. They would just be water with a little bit of juice in it. And once they found out that he was a fake, they would come after him. And one of these times when they came after him, he moved his family to Cleveland, Ohio, so they'd be safe. And this is where Rockefeller got his first job. He worked at Foote and Turtle, where he sold books and rented books. It was basically like a library, but he wanted more, so he made his own business, where he sold wheat and barley and other goods. And in his first year, because of how he is, he made a profit of over $500,000. But he always wanted more. This is the part where everybody's going to want to listen to. This is the part where everybody's going to want to listen because it's where he made his money. When the oil rush happened in Texas and other southern states, everybody wanted to go and drill for it, but drilling is expensive and dangerous. So he figured out that the best way to get money from oil is to refine it. And what he did was he got his brother and some close friends, and they put all their money together, and they bought a factory. Where this was the first factory of his many hundreds of factories across the country. And in his first year, he doubled his sales and profits because of how he did business. He did business by putting together everything. He made the oil and sold it, and he sold it and using barrels that he made because he got the wood from his forest, and the off stuff that the oil made, the undesirable part of the oil, he either sold or used. He would sell it to people who wanted it and use it to power his factories. So all the parts of the oil he would use. And when his company kept getting larger and larger, he bought up other businesses and other oil companies. And to do that, he would lower his prices so much that he would lose profits. But he could outlast other opponents. And when no one would buy the oil because it was too expensive, he would buy them up, and his company would grow larger, which is a tactic that people use today. Buying up companies and lowering your prices so low that other companies just can't compete. So they want to either go out of business or they get bought up. His company eventually got so large that even his partner in crime, Carnegie, who owned railroads across the country, couldn't compete with him. Basically, they weren't competing directly, but when Carnegie tried to raise his prices on transportation for his product, Rockefeller basically said, "No, I'm not going to allow this." And basically, what he did was create his own pipeline, which ran to all the people who he sold his oil to, which basically cut Carnegie out of the picture. The only reason Carnegie had to raise his prices in the first place is because the railroad business was in decline. Because, as we all know, there's only so much land that you can use for railroads. Later down the line in his business, Rockefeller had to break up his Standard Oil because of the government and how they didn't want a monopoly, because monopoly means no competition, and no competition is bad for the economy. And what he did was this is in his latter years, so he really didn't mind this as much. So what he did was he broke his company up into 7 separate entities, which are still around today actually. Some some merged and became one, like Chevron merged and ExxonMobil was first Mobil and Exxon and BP. All the major gas companies today came from his Standard Oil, and he was not all. He was also a philanthropist. Like I said, he gave back to the community by making the Rockefeller Center, which was a very big deal back when it was made 1930, because it was during the Great Depression, and he wanted to help the economy by providing jobs for building the building and for the places in the building that people will work at, like hospitals and restaurants. And to quote him, "Don't be afraid to give up what's good and go for what's great," which is what he did for his first company. In the end, Rockefeller was a very good businessman who made tactics that we all use today. He dissolved this partnership, make a corporation, which made him more money, because corporations make more money because there's more people in it and there's more investors. And he found ways to make cheaper goods and sell the parts of the goods that weren't even usable, but he might find a way to use them. And all in all, Rockefeller was a great businessman, but also a good person because he cared about the economy. Thank you. And here are my references.